Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Alicia J here, and by the title of this video you can tell that I will be showing you how to crochet, specifically how to single crochet. Be on the lookout for future videos where I show you half double crochet, double crochet, and treble crochet, and then I will make a hat or a scarf incorporating all those stitches so that you can be familiarized with crocheting. Right now I have worsted weight yarn in a size H hook. For this tutorial I'm just using regular yarn and a regular size hook, but for yours, if you're making a hat or a scarf, you're going to want to use the appropriate yarn and hook size. I will just do a random square just to get you familiar with single crochet, how to work single crochet. This will not be a tutorial on how to make a hat or how to make a scarf or blanket or anything like that. This is specifically how to single crochet. What you want to do is you want to take your yarn, the end of your yarn, and you're going to want to create a slip knot. So to create a slip knot, all you do is wrap your finger twice, then the yarn that's coming from your hand, you're going to throw it over the first yarn. Now the yarn that's coming from your hand, you're going to pull it all the way over your finger and tighten. Now you created a slip knot. Insert your hook and tighten for comfort. So the way that I hold my yarn when I'm crocheting is I take my 3 fingers and I wrap the yarn over it. Then I will take my pointer and I will scoop the yarn around my pointer. I will take my thumb and my middle finger and I will just hold the project in place. And that's how I hold my work when crocheting. So what we're going to do is create 10 chains. So in order to do a chain, you're going to take your hook, wrap it around the yarn, and then you're going to pull through the loop. So that is considered one chain. You do not count the chain that's on the hook. You count the chains that's coming from the hook. So that's 1, and we're going to do that for 9 more times. Once again, you take your hook with the chain that's already on there. Let me zoom in for you. Take the hook, wrap it around, and pull through the loop. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 5 more. Always in crochet, especially, you always want to check your work. Make sure that you have the appropriate amount of stitches that you started with, because it's easy to go into a stitch and skip a stitch or do 2 in 1 stitch. So you always want to just count across to make sure that you have the necessary amount that you have. Like I said, I'm just doing 10. If you want to do more just to get familiarized with single crochet, you're welcome to do so. So now what we're going to do is from the second chain from the hook. So remember I told you, you don't count this one, you count the one below it and on. So 1, 2. So in this second chain we're going to do the single crochet. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook, you're going to insert it into that chain, the second chain from the hook. You're going to wrap the yarn around and pull through the chain that you inserted. So that should give you 2 loops on the hook. Now you're going to wrap the yarn again around the hook and you're going to pull through 2. That is a single crochet. So let me show you that again. So now we're just going into the next loop or the next chain. So you automatically go into that chain with your hook, wrap around and pull through a loop and pull up a loop. Then you're going to wrap the yarn around again and pull through all 2. So continue that, doing the single crochet all the way down. With single crochet, it's all about yarn management. So if this feels uncomfortable for you the way I hold my yarn, you don't have to hold your yarn that way. Find what works for your hands, what fits around your fingers that's comfortable, to let the yarn just guide through, where you're not forcefully pulling the yarn. It's just sliding through your fingers. So like I said before, we always want to count our single crochets. So like I said, this was on the hook, so we don't count this one, but we want to count these V's. So let's see if we have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Correction, we're not going to have 10 because we went into the second chain from the loop. So we're supposed to have 9. So this is correct. Now we're able to move on. So in order to turn your work, you can easily turn your work and then start working this round. But what's best is to kind of give you some leadway, some room, or some growth, shall I say. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. Just like how we started off with chains, you're going to do the same thing, chain 2. So 1, 2. Turn your work, and you can turn it clockwise. Alright, not counter, or you could do counter, clockwise or counter. And now what we're going to do is this chain 2 that we did, we're going to count that as a stitch, right? Because you see that is directly above our last single crochet. So what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. Now this is going to be a little tricky because you don't have the chains anymore. You have these single crochets. So what you want to do is you want to look for the V's. So you see how we have these V's on the top? You're going to take your hook and you're going to insert it in the next stitch, and it's going to go below the V. And then you're going to yarn over like we did, pull up a loop, should have 2, and then yarn over and pull through all 2. So to see that again, we're going to insert our hook, right? And you see we have the V's. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to do that all the way down. Now we've reached our end, okay? And to know if we reached our end, what are we going to do? We're going to count our V's. So not counting this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we know that we went through all the single crochets. So just like before, we are going to chain 2, turn our work, and continue single crocheting. Not in this first stitch because we're counting our chain 2 as our first single crochet. So we go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And so hopefully I feel like this was, you were able to view it, and by what I'm saying you're able to grasp what we are doing. If this is still unclear to you, please leave a comment down below and I will answer your questions more thoroughly. And if I have to do another video, I will be gladly to do that as well. So we're going to just keep crocheting down. And if you want, instead of waiting till you're done to count, as you're making your single crochet, you can count as you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we know we need 2 more. So all we do is say 8. And then that's how we know that, okay, I have to make another one. So if you look, this may be tricky. You may think, oh, I'm at the end. Oops. This may be tricky. You may think, oh, I'm at the end. I just need to chain 2 and turn my work. But no. So if you look here, it's the stitch. You can see the V. So you see that V right here? One's right, one strand, 2 strand. You want to go through there, and now we've done 9 single crochets. So chain 2, turn your work, and continue. Now, being that this is just to get you practicing single crochet, getting you comfortable with single crochet, I say keep going until you've reached 10 rows. So that, or if 10 rows you still don't feel comfortable, then continue on. If you feel like, you know what, I got the concept, I know what I'm doing, I can go without no problems, then do 5 rows, and then we will cast off. So go ahead and pause this video and continue however many rows you want to do, and press play when you're ready to bind off. So now I'm ready to cast off, bind off, to finish this project, because we have this active working yarn right here. So the difference between crochet and knitting is that with knitting you have a lot of live stitches. So whatever stitches that you're working with, you have to bind off each individual one. But as crochet, you're technically binding off as you go, except for this one right here. So what I do is I chain 1 and I pull a big loop, right? Then I will take my scissors and I will cut my yarn, and then I will just pull it out, and then I will pull it tight, and then there you have it. Then I will take my darting needle and I will weave in my ends. But here is our finished project, or my finished project of single crochet. It's very easy, it's very detailed, and it's, as you can see, it didn't take long. I advise you to keep doing these little swatches, is what I want to call them, as single crochet, so that you can familiarize yourself with what you're doing, get comfortable with chaining 2, turning your work, and things of that nature. So that's single crochet side to side.